Hi everyone, John here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Swagman Chinook 2 bike rack on our 2018 Buick Regal X. Now this is a great platform style bike rack if you and a friend want to go out onto the trails and you want something that works well and has a tilt-away but is still affordable. Now something to keep in mind is the weight capacity. It's going to be 45 pounds per bike, so that's going to be good for your road bikes and some of your smaller mountain bikes. Another thing to keep in mind is it's being held down by the frame. So this is going to negate you being able to use any carbon frame bikes because it may warp or damage the actual frame. Along with that, some odd shaped frames may not be able to work with it. Speaking of tilt-away, let's take a closer look at that. So it is an odd placement for the tilt-away handle. We're gonna pull on that, slowly let it back, and it will stop itself. And then as you can see, we can get into the back. Let's say that you need to get your helmets, any waters, anything like that that you need for your ride. You can just get in there and do that. I will say though, the placement is something to be left to desired, but it is easy to push up and get it back in place. Now let's get a closer look at the bike rack itself by taking the bike off. So as you can see on these hooks, it actually has a lock on it. So the fact we can take it all the way off is kind of a security risk. You'll be able to lock it so nobody steals your bikes. We are going to take these straps off right here. I'm going to take this other strap off. And once you have that, you can take the final hook off, popping it while holding onto your bike. Now, something to keep in mind, if you have a higher vehicle, or let's say that you just have a heavier bike, you may want to be able to tilt this away, which you can use this button right here. It does take a little bit of strength to push down. I'd push it with your forearm. And as you push that out of the way a little bit, you'll be able to lift your bike off and go on a ride. So let's take a quick look at the actual mast. As you can see, it has ridges of all the way down. So let's say that you do have an odd shaped bike. We have a women's bike here that happens to have a low curve. You can still have this go on there. So let's say we have it up front. You can have it go all the way down here. So whenever you do have odd shaped frames, you'll still be able to use it. So as you can see, we're going to put the strap back in place. It has a nice little pad right here that will go on the underside of your bike wheel, and as you can see, we can actually move it back and forth, which is very nice for different size wheelbases. We actually have a wheelbase ability to get a wheelbase of 50 inches, which is very nice. And for these, you will be able to put a 3-inch wheel in it. Now, keep in mind, if you do have fat tire bikes, you can buy a separate add-on that makes it up to 5 inches. Now, something that we want to do now is actually get some different measurements. Measurements are going to be important whenever you're backing up, especially the length from the back of your vehicle to the back of your bike rack. That's going to be the length. Let's check. It's going to be about 24 inches. And whenever you're backing up or getting into a parking space, that's going to be the most important time to know that. We'll get another measurement, and that's going to be the ground clearance. Now the ground clearance is going to be a little bit different considering this does have a rise. So it's going to be 15 inches exactly. So that's something to keep in mind whenever you're going up and down over rockier terrain, or you're going up a large hill, because whenever your front goes up, your back is going to go down. Let's actually get one more. Let's see how close it gets right here at this part right here. It's going to be about 8 inches, so that's going to be the closest point that you're going to have to worry about. Now, we can actually eliminate some of that length by tilting it up. So you're going to use the exact same handle as you did to tilt down. As you tilt up, it's going to take away a lot of room. Now let's get some length measurements. It's going to bring it down to about 15 inches, which is very nice. And the closest point is actually pretty close. As you can see, you've got about 1.5 inches here in between. You still got a hand that can get through there, but that's something to keep in mind, but it won't get any closer to your vehicle. One cool thing, in this position, you can actually open up your back hatch without having to worry about it hitting, which is something that's very nice. Now, Granted, we tried this with a 3-inch, but I would say with the 5-inch you probably won't have much problem, but that's something to keep in mind. This was with a 3-inch. Now this is a 1¼ inch bike rack with a 2-inch adapter. Now we have it on a 1¼ inch today, and as you can see, it fits in very nicely. It has an anti-rattle bolt system. Now the locking core is going to come with 2 keys, and those are going to be key-alike to the rest of your locks on this bike rack. Now speaking of anti-rattle bolts, I'm going to show you what that actually means. Now whenever I shake it back and forth, as you can see, it's mostly shaking the car, so whenever you're driving down the road, you're not going to have to worry about any jostling or your bikes going up and down from the rocky terrain.
This is our test course. Let's start with the slalom. This shows side-to-side action, such as turning corners or evasive maneuvering. Then, onto our alternating speed bumps. This shows twisting action, such as hitting curbs, potholes, road debris, or even uneven pavement. Last of all, the solid speed bumps. This shows up and down action, such as driving through a parking lot or parking garage, or driving in and out of a driveway.
Now my final thoughts on the Swagman Chinook. Whenever it comes to how it's built, I do have some problems with the tilt-away feature. It is in an odd place, but whenever it comes to being able to get 45-pound weight capacity on a Class 1 hitch and 2 bikes with a platform style, very nice. I think that being able to do that is great, especially for your smaller vehicles like your Regal. So that's something that I can't really say too bad about. Overall, if you are looking for something with a little bit more weight capacity, I would recommend the Kuat NV, but for what it's doing, it does a great job at it. And that was a look at our Swagman Chinook 2 bike rack on our 2018 Buick Regal TourX. My name's John. Thank you for watching.